confirmed. I think that's highly unlikely. Talk about an unpopular member of the Republican Party and the Congress of the United States. It's him, and it's not because he's disliked so much by Democrats. It's that he's disliked by Republicans. So
Gaetz, a figure as polarizing as he's unapologetic, has managed to draw sharp criticism not only from Democrats but also from within his own Republican ranks. The stakes couldn't be higher. For Gaetz to secure confirmation, he will need the support of more than 50 Republican senators, a debunking task given the fractures within the GOP itself. With his own party seemingly at odds over his nomination, the question looms large. Can Matt Gaetz overcome the odds and win Senate confirmation? To unravel this high-stakes political drama, we will turn to Karl Rove, a veteran Republican strategist, for his insight into the explosive development. Let's dive in.
No longer being a member of the House Ethics Committee has no authority over him. So think about it. I think this is really sort of cynical. He's nominated by 47. He immediately resigns to stop the report. What's going to happen from there? One is he could get confirmed. I think that's highly unlikely. Talk about an unpopular member of the Republican Party and the Congress of the United States. It's him, and it's not because he's disliked so much by Democrats. It's that he's disliked by Republicans. So he's unlikely to get confirmed. All it takes is 4 members of the Republican membership of the Senate to say no to him. And I could count like 10 or 12 already that are expressing doubts or saying they're opposed. So maybe then the president makes a recess appointment in which he gets to serve in the job for 2 years. But again, you're right. The guy has never been a practicing attorney with a steady practice. He's never prosecuted. He's never managed or run a law firm. And he's going to run the largest law firm in the world? I don't think so. So I think what this ultimately is, he's counting on being turned down with the idea that he then runs for governor or senator in 2026, saying, I was a victim of the deep state, and rallies the MAGA base in order to try and get there.
Many of Trump's supporters passionately argue that his election victory represents a clear and undeniable mandate from people, granting him the authority to select his cabinet members, including the controversial nomination of Matt Gaetz for Attorney General. To them, the Republican Party has a duty to respect the will of the voters by ensuring Gaetz' confirmation, seeing it as a litmus test of loyalty to the Trump agenda and a validation of the people's choice. They contend that rejecting Gaetz would undermine the very principles of democracy and the electoral mandate. However, conservative commentator Guy Benson provides a more nuanced take, pointing out that the senators are also elected by their constituents and bear a constitutional responsibility to provide advice and consent on presidential nominees. He emphasizes that their role is not to rubber stamp nominations, but to carefully evaluate whether a nominee is truly qualified to hold office, especially for a position as critical as Attorney General of the United States, one of the most powerful roles in the federal government. This clash between loyalty to Trump's vision and adherence to constitutional duties creates a tension that could significantly shape the confirmation process. Let's hear more from Benson on this crucial perspective.
Well, sure. I mean, it's the constitutional duty of U.S. senators to advise and consent. And I think a lot of viewers are probably saying, well, hang on just a second. Donald Trump just won this election. He won the popular vote. He did all these things that people said he would never be able to do. Doesn't he have a mandate? Doesn't he have an agenda? Shouldn't Republicans do everything they can to help him? And I think that's a fair point in a lot of ways. And I think it's important to affirm that. At the same time, Donald Trump getting elected does not mean that the 100 members of the Senate were not also elected separately, independently. And they have a job to do here. They have to look at, as has happened for centuries, look at the personnel put forward by the president, who I think absolutely deserves broad deference for the most part, but they have to make some choices. Presidents don't always get every single thing that they want. And if Wall Street Journal and other reporting is to be believed, there are potentially between a dozen and several dozen Republican senators who are either leaning no or would be no on this particular nominee. So a question would arise at that point, if that's true, because whispering to reporters is different than going on the record and voting. But if it's true that there are at least 4 or more Republicans against this, it wouldn't be partisan obstruction. Democrats can't filibuster him. I'm sure they wish they could, right? But they got rid of that tool for the minority during the Obama administration. That's their bed to lie in. But if 4 or more Republican senators, maybe a lot more, decide we're going to draw a line on this one, then the question becomes, does the president want to get into a massive political fight with his own party at the very beginning of his presidency for this one person? That remains to be seen.
Meanwhile, another layer of intrigue emerges as some conservative commentators speculate that Trump's nomination of Gaetz may be a calculated move, a trial run designed to set the stage for his true pick. According to this theory, Trump anticipates Gaetz being rejected by the Senate, paving the way for his preferred nominee while pressuring senators to avoid rejecting two nominees in a row. Such a scenario could create enormous political pressure on Republican senators, particularly those facing tight re-election races in the upcoming midterms, making it politically costly to oppose Trump's second choice. This strategy, if true, could completely alter the dynamics of the confirmation process. So you let me know what you think about this.